between the New York Giants, champions of the Eastern Division of the National League, and the Baltimore Colts, champions of the Western Division of the National Football League. The game last year called one of the greatest ever played, a 23-17 victory that went to the Baltimore Colts in overtime, the first sudden-death overtime ball game in the history of the National League, and a lot of fans are looking for that type of ball game again today. The weatherman has certainly cooperated in Baltimore. We've got a jam-packed stadium, 57,557. And this game has been sold out since the day the Baltimore Colts won the Western Division title. The weatherman, well, it's overcast, although the sun has been shining most of the day here in Baltimore. And it's a little overcast right now, although the sun may break through any moment. The temperature, believe it or not, in Baltimore, Maryland in December is 51 degrees. The humidity, 85%. The wind is a crosswind, and I don't believe will be a factor in this ball game today. Now, in the game today, field goal kicking should have a lot to do with it. Pat Summerall and Steve Meyer. We'll have the starting lineups for you in just a moment. Your host for the game today is Philip Morris Incorporated. Most of you know their famous cigarettes: Marlboro, Alpine, Philip Morris, and Parliament. But how many of you know that Philip Morris has just completed a great new research center near Richmond, Virginia? The grand opening was quite an event. Hundreds of visitors saw the country's newest and most advanced facilities for tobacco research. They saw nuclear physics used in measuring the tiny particles in cigarette smoke. They saw electronics isolate the tars and nicotine. And they saw the fascinating flavor library, where the Philip Morris Company experiments with new tones in the flavor of your cigarette. Over 100 scientists and technicians have been brought to the center from all over America to concentrate on the mysteries of the lighted cigarette. The new Philip Morris Research Center, where science is lighting the way to new frontiers in pleasurable, confident smoking. Another reason why Philip Morris Incorporated is known as the makers of America's finest cigarettes. As I mentioned a moment ago, this ball game today, although everybody's looking for an explosive type of a ball game, with the offense, the best in the National League, and generated by the Baltimore Colts, with their great engineer, the quarterback John Unitas, going against the best defense in the National Football League, engineered and sparked by great Sam Huff. And although they're expecting an explosive ball game, it could get down to a field goal kicking contest, matching Pat Summerall of the New York Giants against Steve Meyer. And Summerall was a very vital factor in the Giants' march to the Eastern Division Championship this year. Now, in scoring, New York finished its regular season second only to Baltimore, and through late games, the previously indifferent Giant scorers churned up a 37-point-a-game pace. Before that, it had been but 17 per game on the average. Charlie Connerly, 12 years worth of outstanding quarterback, reached league leadership as a passer this year for the first time in his long, illustrious career. And Frank Gifford, the great running back of the New York Giants, is rated one of the top all-around offensive backs pro football has ever seen. Now, Connerly never has much trouble connecting with Gifford, Kyle Rote, or Bob Shelker when the Giants need to move offensively. Now, the Giant defense is the greatest, but they don't need shutouts to win. And the Baltimore defense has had some great moments of its own. I remember on opening day here in this very stadium, they held the high-scoring Detroit Lions to only 9 points, and they held the Chicago Bears with their great offense to only 7 points. And in the vital, tremendous clash with San Francisco that first set cold feet firmly on the championship road, the 49ers were limited to a remarkable 3 first downs and 133 yards total, 35 rushing and 98 passing. In interceptions, a chief factor in the Western title march, the Baltimore defense has been almost fantastic. A near-record 40 enemy passes were theft this year, no fewer than 17 by the linebackers. And when you stop and analyze that, it's almost unbelievable when linebackers can come up with 17 pass interceptions. And Don Shinnick, one of the linebackers, grabbed 7 to tie for the league leadership, which may be the first time this feat has ever been performed by a linebacker. And Jim Lee Howell, the coach of the Giants, concedes that his vaunted defense, considered stronger this year by the addition of Dick Lynch and return of Dick Nolan in the backfield, probably hasn't yet been put to a test anything like the one it will experience from the Baltimore Colts today. Now, Howell and his Ritters have admitted it is the Colt talent for interceptions that worries them most about today's game. At John Unitas, well, I don't believe we have enough time on this NBC coast-to-coast broadcast today to give you the details on John Unitas, who played his college football at Louisville, a young man who you might literally term it, tried out with a couple of our major universities, but they found him a little small. And he was drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers, the National Football League, finally was cut loose by the Steelers, and returned to his home and finally wound up with the Baltimore Colts. And they picked him up, as the story goes, for just the price of a long-distance phone call. And Unitas, as everybody knows, since that time has established as the most high-geared attacking quarterback in the game. This year, through 32 touchdown passes, the most any National Football League passer has ever achieved. He throws to the three best receivers found on any one ball club. Raymond Berry led the league on 66 receptions. Lenny Moore's 47 tied him with two rivals for second place, and Jim Mutchler's 44 finished him up just another step behind. And when enemy defenses were set too tightly against the aerial onslaught, the Colts proved they could get there on the hard running of Alan the Horse Amici, the great All-American from the University of Wisconsin, and from Lenny Moore and later Mike Sommer. Now the Baltimore Colt band on the field and getting a big ovation from the 57,557 here at the Baltimore Stadium. There's one thing, and I don't think anybody across America will argue with you about, and that this ball game today will match the two finest, most powerful football teams on the gridiron currently, and perhaps two of the greatest in modern football history. Both have consistently shown a wonderful talent for rising to abnormal, almost superhuman heights for the big ball game. Neither has ever seen a bigger game than this one, in spite of their gaudy recent history. Each club, after a 2-week rest, is rated physically at peak. The Giants are 100%, although Mel Triplett, their bruising fullback from the University of Toledo, suffered an attack of tonsillitis, although they say he's ready to go. And one question mark might be the powerful halfback Alec Webster, who missed the final game because of a bad back. But he's reported, according to Jim Lee Howell himself, ready to go in today's game. Now, Baltimore will play without its all-around reserve by Bert Retchishar, now recovering from knee surgery. And Amici was shaken up and played sparingly in the last couple of ball games of the regular season, and Milt Davis was also injured somewhat. But both teams, anticipating this deafening roar that you hear here from the supercharged lungs of Baltimore's grandstand noise champion, are prepared to combat the problem with wigwag hand signals from the quarterbacks to flanking ends and backs on the scrimmage line checkoff. And the rules will be the same as in 1958 for overtime play if needed. A 3-minute rest, a coin toss, a kickoff, and a regular additional 15-minute period until one of the other scores to complete the sudden death. So in other words, everything is all set for this one. As I mentioned earlier, it rained just slightly early in Baltimore, but the field has been covered all week and is in excellent condition. And the field today will be, as we'll put it, a fast track for the Baltimore Colts and for the New York Giants, who battle for the World Professional Championships. And the playoffs go back to 1933 at Chicago. The Chicago Bears beat the New York Giants by a score of 23-21. New York figured again in the playoffs in 1934 when they beat the Chicago Bears by a score of 30-13. And then, of course, who will ever forget the ball game last year at Yankee Stadium in New York when Baltimore defeated New York by a score of 23-17 in an overtime game. Now, during the regular season, the New York Giants won 10 and lost 2. They finished up in the last 2 games. On December the 6th, they beat the Cleveland Browns. As a matter of fact, the score of that one just absolutely amazed everybody in football. They rolled over the Browns 48-7, and then they defeated Washington by a score of 24-10. The Baltimore Colts, who were 2 games down at one stage of the Western Division race to the San Francisco 49ers, came on with a rush. With only 5 games to go, 2 games down, the 49ers won the ball games they had to win. They were upset by Washington 27-24. Then they defeated Green Bay 28-24 in a close one. And then they really got rolling, and in the ball game that they just absolutely had to win, They beat the San Francisco 49ers by a score of 45-14. Then they defeated Los Angeles 35-21, and then playing the ball clubs back-to-back, they defeated San Francisco 34-14 and just rolled over the Los Angeles Rams 45-26 to set the stage for this one today. Now, the Giants stick pretty much to a man-to-man defense in the secondary with a setup that allows one of the safety men, usually Jim Patton, to do some freelancing, that is, to cover the man that they might figure would be the loose man, and in this particular case, it could be Ray Berry, the great pass catcher of the Baltimore Colts. And both these teams today, offensively, will use pretty much the same type of offense. They use the T formation, the balance line, and they use the flankers. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. Kickoff in just a moment. You know, 5 of those New York Giants are Marlboro men in fact as well as name. After the game today, they'll be back with the Philip Morris Company, selling Marlboro and Philip Morris cigarettes all across the country. The Big 5 include Sam Huff, Don Chandler, Lyndon Crow, Jim Patton, and Little Mo Modulewski. And you folks in Mississippi will be seeing Jim Patton at local meetings, showing filmed highlights of the past season's games, including this great championship game. Over in West Virginia, Sam Huff will be doing the same. Don Chandler will be working in Oklahoma and Texas, while Lyndon Crow works out in California. This year's newcomer, Dick Modulewski, will be selling for Marlboro and Ohio. And we hope you'll get to see these fellows during the coming year. And we hope you'll remember what they say about Marlboro. The better the makings, the better the smoke. And you get better makings in a Marlboro. Well, the Baltimore Colts band is going off the field now, and in just a couple of minutes, the New York Giants will be coming back along with the Baltimore Colts. We have already had the toss of the coin. They'll go through it again for the edification of the crowd here at Baltimore, but the New York Giants won the toss and will receive. This field here at the Baltimore Memorial Stadium, which is also utilized by the Baltimore Orioles of the American Baseball League, the football field runs north and south, and our vantage point, the NBC broadcast booth, is on the west side. We're looking across to the east, and as we speak to you now, the sun breaks through again, and this is just an almost unbelievable day for a football game. And this type of year, this type of day for a game during this stage of the year, because usually these championship games are played in sub-freezing weather and in many cases some snow. The officials are coming on the field now, and Ron Gibbs of St. Thomas will be the referee. Lou Palazzi of Penn State will be the umpire. Charles Berry of Lafayette College, who was quite an athlete at Lafayette and who also umpires in the American League during the off-season. He will do the headlinesman. Charles Sweeney of Notre Dame will be the back judge, and Cleo Deal of Northwestern will be the field judge in the ball game today. I was talking about the offense of these teams. The defense will be pretty much the same, utilized by the Giants and by the Baltimore Colts. They use the 4-man line, that is the 4-4 defense, and of course the Baltimore Colts like the Red Dog a lot. We'll talk about that in a moment, but now let's pause 10 seconds for station identification.
These are the General Electric stations, Schenectady, WGY and WGFM.
Dan Patrick speaking to you again from the Baltimore Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland. And in just a minute or so, we'll have the introduction of the two teams, the Colts and the New York Giants. While we're waiting for the introduction and to give you a rundown on the starting lineups, the way they will operate, and to describe for you the first half of this ball game for the World's Professional Football Championship, is an old classmate of mine from Texas Christian University and the very able broadcaster of the Philadelphia Phillies of the National Baseball League and the Philadelphia Eagles of the National Football League, a gentleman who's been calling professional football. Well, if I gave you how many years, I'd be giving away some ages, so I won't do that. Here, ladies and gentlemen, is By Song.
Well, thank you very much, Van Patrick, and hello, everybody. We're in the city of Baltimore today to bring you the World's Championship football game. We can tell you that a moment ago we had the preliminary flip of the coin, and the Giants have won and will elect to receive. One of the most important things today is the weather, as Van touched on. I do believe that we're going to have a moment of silence in tribute to the late, great Bert Bell, the commissioner of professional football. And the introduction of the players will be coming along. We have not been informed as to whether it will be the offensive team of the Giants. I assume that they will be introduced first. A complete sellout today. And that means better than 57,000 looking on. Maryland has never had a sporting spectacle quite like it. And of course, this city has been in a frenzy for weeks. Here comes the captain of the Giant team, the great Kyle Rote of SMU fame. Rosie Brown, 245 pounds of dynamite. At left guard for the Giants, Darrell Dess, 24-year-older from North Carolina State. The center, Waitaka of Northwestern. Right guard for the New York Giants will be Jack Stroud, Tennessee, 235 pounds. Frank Uso of Minnesota will be the right tackle on the offensive unit. You'll remember this championship game he played on the defense some last year. And Bob Schnelker of Bowling Green at right end. Now the incomparable Chuck Connolly of Mississippi, 12-year veteran at quarterback. Left halfback, Frank Gifford, and he'll be running with that ball quite frequently today from Southern Cal. The right half is Alex Webster, 210-pounder from North Carolina, and the fullback, it's reported he has a slight case of tonsillitis, but he's here and ready to go, the great Mel Triplett of Toledo. And the rest of the Giant team coming out of the field. New York today wearing white, red numerals, the blue helmets, and the red and white stockings. It will be a contrast, of course, to the Colts blue, and they will be introduced in just a moment. Here comes the Colts, being led by the left end Raymond Berry of Southern Methodist. What a pass catcher he is. Jim Parker of Ohio State, the left tackle. Art Spinney is the left guard of the Colts team. At center, Buzz Nutter of BPI, 235-pounder. Alex Sandusky will be the right guard, 235-pounder. Number 60 is George Freeze of BPI, 245-pounder. And Jim Wexler of Notre Dame fame, certainly a much underrated ball player at right end. Number 19, Johnny Unitas. Mike Summer will be in right halfback of George Washington. The left halfback will be Lenny Moore, the scatback from Penn State. And rounding out your Colt backfield today will be Alan the Horse Amici, 220-pounder from the University of Wisconsin. Van Patrick and I have had a chance to see both teams in action all year. I can't believe that we could get two more evenly balanced teams to go into the championship game as we have today. And what memories go back to a year ago when the Colts, it appeared, had lost, came on to tie it with 1 minute and 56 seconds and 86 yards away. And then in the sudden death, went on to win out with a final score of 23-17. Now, as Van mentioned, we still have the same crew that operated in the championship game of a year ago. Mike Wilson, in charge of the officials, informs me that we also have a reserve crew here today, in case they are needed. Now, we are located smack on the 50-yard line today. The field is running north and south. We are located on the west side. There's a slight breeze that is coming from out of the southeast. I would say at about 5 miles an hour. The sun is out. However, the lights have been turned on. And this, of course, will be the final football game of the 1959 season. And what a ball game it is. Gino Marchetti, he was all-league as a defensive left end, will be now at the center of the field, representing the Colts. And we are now going through the flip of the coin again. Co-captains today for the Giants will be Robustelli, he's a defensive right end, and Kyle Rote will represent the offensive unit. The Giants get the call today, and apparently called the coin correctly. And they are to receive, and the Colts will be kicking off. Jim Lee Howell, who came as head coach of the Giants back in 1953. He's won 3 titles and 1 World's Championship. Last year lost to the Colts. And Weeb Eubank, who came here in 1953 and won the World's title a year ago. And now, ladies and gentlemen, they're telling of the momentous occasion of Baltimore getting the World's Championship. We are now to have a moment of silence
to the success of the National Football League and the Baltimore Colts.
The passing of Mr. Bert Bell, as you remember, passed away at Franklin Field during the football season, watching the Eagles and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
The great team there.
And also Mr. William Hilgenberg, the treasurer of the Colts, who passed away this past week. So this tremendous multitude of 57,557 will now stand in a moment of silence.
And what they have done for the players, the public, and all of professional football. Their spirit, example, and high ideals, along with the love they exhibited for their fellow men, will remain alive as long as the National Football League and the Baltimore Colts exist. May we ask you to stand and join with us in a moment of respectful tribute to Commissioner Bert Bell and to William F. Hilgenberg.
Championship game. New York to receive to our left, getting last-minute instruction from head coach Jim Lee Howell, who played his collegiate football at the University of Arkansas. And the Colts will be kicking off in the blue and white, and the Colts with Steve Myra booting the ball and defending the goal off to our left. Of course, you just have to be in Baltimore to appreciate the enthusiasm of the followers of this great team. Their band. They have 18 cheerleaders. I've never seen spirit that existed in any city as it does here in Baltimore. And their famous mascot, Dixie, the Colt. And every time they score a touchdown, he races around the gridiron. Myra to boot. And the Giants now are getting set up for the reception of the football to our right. The field is absolutely fast. It couldn't be any better. It's been covered. We had a light rain in Baltimore last night, but it did not touch the gridiron. Joe Morrison will be receiving downfield at the goal line as one of the boys to bring it upfield, and Phil King, a fullback from Vanderbilt, will be on the other side. As Van pointed out, the Colts, the greatest offensive team in the league this year. The Giants rang up the best defensive record, and of course, look out for those field goal kickers, Myra and Summerall, because that could be the deciding factor when it's over in some 60 minutes or better from now. Steve Myra from North Dakota to kick the ball. And your game in the World Championship battle in Baltimore is underway. Waiting for the whistle, and there she goes. Myra approaches the football. It's a high end over ender that's going to the goal line, and 5 yards deep. It's picked off by King, who races to the 10. He's up the middle and comes to the 18 or 20-yard line. Bill King, on the reception of the kickoff, is down at that point, and it will now go to the Giants. New York's ball. Smack on the 20. Now in the backfield, it'll be Connolly, Gifford, Webster, and Triplett. That's the unit we gave you in the introduction a moment ago. The Colts primarily will use a 4-man line. It'll be interesting to see how they shoot the gap. All right, the right end is out. That's Rote, far to the right. Signals being barked out for the 12-year veteran, Chuck Connolly. They're taking a long count. Connolly with it is going to the air immediately. Fades 5, throws deep, and it is completed. A Rote first down on the 41-yard line. A magnificent pass pattern, and it was Rote down and out, and Milt Davis chased him out of bounds. So Connolly, who was the outstanding passer in the National Football League this past year, has already connected, and it puts the ball back, put it on the 42-yard line. New York on their own 42 from Connolly to Rote. The first play and the first down of the ball game. The officials have called for another football. Apparently, just off in front of the Colt bench, it is a bit soggy, and the football that we started the game with is already a bit muddy. However, the field itself, outside of maybe 1 or 2 spots, is in excellent condition. So the Giants, with a first down, resting on their own 42-yard line. Coming out wide is Alex Webster this way. On the right side, they've got Snooker out about 10 yards. The Colts are up in practically a 7-man line, moving out to a 6 now as they loop. The ball goes on a reverse to Gifford to the right. Gifford swings wide. Gifford to the 50. Gifford to the 45. Gifford goes to the Colts 35 or 6-yard line. Harold Hassett eventually got him down. 2 plays and 2 first downs, and the Giants are rolling. They are now into the territory of the Colts, and a 22-yard scamper by Gifford. Wide swing that time, running away from Webster, who was flanked off to the left. The ball is now on the Colts. Make it the 36. Another first down. Kyle Rote is flanked wide this way again. The 2 men directly behind Connolly are Webster and Triplett. Chuck and Charlie goes back to heave. Fires down the sideline. Looks for Gifford. And it's batted down on the 10-yard line as Andy Nelson leaped high, and Gifford was right alongside of it. It is incomplete as they tried to fire away on a 26-yard pass pattern. It is now second down, stopping the clock. But New York throwing up an early threat here in the early moments of the first quarter. Connolly has gone to the air twice. He has connected once for a first down, and this one came very close. One thing you have to respect in the Colt defense, they came up with 40 interceptions during the season, many of them by those 3 linebackers, Hellington, Szymanski, and Chennick. Off to the right now is Gifford. Connolly handles the ball on practically every play. The quarterback takes Gills. The ball now goes to the right halfback. That's Alex Webster coming to the left. And he slants down to about the 32-yard line, where the middle linebacker, Dick Szymanski, rushes in to make the tackle. Put the ball on the 32-yard line. It is now third down and 6 to go. You might remember in the early moments of this championship game a year ago, there was a field goal, and then the Colts took the lead, and the Colts led at the end of the half 14-3. But you all know the story at the finish. Remember, this is a sudden death for the championship again today, if it's needed. Webster goes out wide to the right. Connolly fades 5, stretches the pass, elects to run. He's being rushed deep to the 50. He is nailed. Big Daddy Lipscomb, a 288-pounder, dragging down Connolly and throws him back at the 50-yard line. A tremendous 18-yard loss for the Giants, and the Colts followers roar. Fourth down and long yardage now as the Giants send in their kicking team. And they possess one of the finest in Don Chandler. Backing off, looking for the kick now. Double safety Johnny Sample is one. and the other is Carl Tassum. Chandler standing a good 12 yards deep around his own 37-yard line, takes the pass, gets into the football, a beauty, it's going to go down to the goal line, and the Colts elect to let it go out the end zone. Touchback, Baltimore with the ball for the first time in the game, 1st and 10 on a 50-yard boot by Chandler. We have now moved along 2 minutes and 9 seconds in the first quarter. No score. The Giants have rolled up 2 first downs, but now the pigskin belongs to the Colts. Led by one of those quick spot passes just over the line. Dick Nolan coming along, one of the fine defenders on the Giants secondary, bangs him down. It's a 5-yard gain, 2nd down and 5 to go. And just as you might expect, with the top billing going to Connolly and Unitas, so far that's what we're getting. Unitas is a 1-for-1. Summer is flanked wide. They give the ball to Lenny Moore, but he is dropped. He is losing yardage, trying to come to the near side, chased out of bounds by Jim Katkavich of Dayton and Cliff Livingston, who backs up that line of scrimmage. This is going to throw them back to the 23, will make it, a 2-yard loss, 3rd down and 7 coming up. The Colts have had the ball on 2 occasions. No score with the Colts coming upfield in the white and blue. Approximately 15 yards from the near side of the field. Once again, the flanker is Mike Summer to the right. Over to the left side, it's Raymond Berry out wide. Unitas once again takes a long count. Defensive 6-man line for the Giants. Unitas fades. He fires. He throws into the flat. Amici has it. Alan Amici is up to the 35 and filled as he goes out of bounds to the far side. Dick Lynch finally knocked him out of bounds. Colts first down. Baltimore has racked up its first down and is now resting on the 37-yard line. 13, make it 14 yards on the swing pattern that goes from Unitas to Amici. You think of Amici, of course, as their great inside runner, but it goes to prove the great balance of the Colt team that they flip the ball to him occasionally. Mike Summer, flanker to the right again. Colts line up with Unitas. He takes a pass. He gives to Amici, and he takes the draw play up to the 40. Down to the middle of that line by Jim Katkavich, a demon at defensive left end. The referee today, Mr. Ron Gibbs, one of the greatest in the business, has placed the ball on the 40-yard line. A 3-yard net gain. It is 2nd down and 7 to go. These 2 teams did not meet during the regular season, but both clinched their own conference title before the final game. Set to go with no score. About 3 minutes along in the first quarter, Unitas goes back, flips into the flat, no good. The pass was intended to Mike Summer that time. Tremendous fake handoff. Unitas to Amici and then shooting the pass on the one that went to Amici a moment ago for a first down. It is grounded, and it's now 3rd and 7 from the 40-yard line. We're speaking today from the city of Baltimore in the World's Championship game. The Colts won it the hard way last year in New York's Yankee Stadium. Now with the left end Raymond Berry going out, it's very apparent that Dick Lynch is covering him man for man. How long he can do that remains to be seen. Unitas is back. Unitas throws, completed to Moore. He's at the 40, the 35. Moore goes for a touchdown. A magnificent pass pattern with Johnny Unitas faking to Berry, shooting down the middle on a diagonal pass. Lenny Moore caught the ball around the 35-yard line and got by everybody. 6-0, the Colts lead. Moore scored the touchdown. Now Steve Myra will try for the 7th point. Ball is being held by Ray Brown. Myra didn't miss one all year. The kick is up, and the kick is good. There's timeout on the field. Score, the Colts 7, New York Giants nothing.
Remember On the Trail? But now, get on the trail of flavor.
Call for Philip Morris.
today's Philip Morris. Enjoy your mildness and flavor, too. Get on the trail of flavor.
Call for Philip Morris.
The Colts have scored 4 minutes and 55 seconds of the first quarter. They marched 80 yards in 6 plays and covered the last 40 yards, with Unitas having all day to throw the ball. And how he hit Mr. Lenny Moore in the midriff, and he dashed over with not a giant near him. The kickoff, Myra boots high, end over end kick. Morrison and King are waiting 2 yards deep behind the goal. Taken by Phil King, who races to the 10, comes this way to the 20, into the 25. They bounce him out of bounds as he approached the 33, and that's where he goes out. Chased out by Jim Butler, and the Giants now are in possession. Tremendous action, and if you love offensive football as they play it in the National Football League, we've got it today in the city of Baltimore. New York lining up with the ball, put it on the 33-yard line, on a good return after the kickoff by Myra, and the run back by King. 7-0, Colts lead. Chuck Connolly barking signals. Flanker wide to the right. The give goes to Triplett. Triplett is down after getting back just past the line of scrimmage. A good open field tackle by that giant, Don Joyce, who anchors the right side of the Baltimore line. Pigskin has moved 1 yard ahead on the 34, second down and 9. The pass pattern for the touchdown was a thing of beauty. Lenny Moore didn't break stride at all as he took the pass and was beyond the deep tertiary of the New York Giants. It's 7-0. All right, Giants line up in their white and red. Connolly waiting for the snap. They've got flankers to the right side, 2 of them. Connolly goes back to pass. He looks downfield. He fires. Root cannot reach the ball. He tried to hit him at the 50, and it is incomplete, with Milt Davis chasing him along that midfield stripe. That brings it back to the 34-yard line. Now in your lineup for New York, Waitaka at center. The guards are Stroud and Dess. Yuso and Brown are the tackles, and Snelker, who has been pretty much a decoy up to now, and Rote operating at the flanks. One thing about the Giant team, even though they're trailing, they do not lose any of their poise. Up they come, and the right end is wide. That's Snelker. 6'4", right end. 2 men are covering him, I might add. One at the line of scrimmage. Connolly fades, fakes. Connolly wants to throw. He's going to be trapped, maybe. He tries to release the ball, throws it to Webster. It's fumbled, it goes out of bounds, and I do believe it's ruled as an incompleted forward pass. Connolly was trapped heavily behind the line of scrimmage. He had to release the ball, and he tried to give a little shovel pass up to Alex Webster, and it's grounded. Some of the Colts fans thought it might have been a fumble. Now the ball is coming back. Let's see where they're gonna place the ball back on the 28-yard line. They figured that Connolly's progress had been stopped at that point. 4th down. Giants are in kick formation. Don Chandler back to boot. Second time that he's been back. He booted 150 yards a moment ago. Good protection. Gets it off end over end. Waiting for it at the 28-yard line. That's Johnny Sample. First man down. Loses it. Sample up the sideline to the 40. Stays on his feet. Back foot to the sideline. 40, 30. He's at the 25. Look at him go. He's down to the 15. The officials apparently have detected that the run by Johnny Sample, he touched the sidelines, but what a twisting run it was. Flashing feet down the near sideline, but he was out of bounds. And in football, remember, if you touch the sideline, you are out. So the ball comes back. Instead of having a first down around the 15-yard line, it's the Colts in possession on their own 43. Baltimore's ball. The Colts leading by 7-0. Mike Summer flank wide. Unitas waits for the snap, takes, fakes, and gives that ball to Alan Amici, who is tripped up. Actually, he stumbled over one of his own blockers and falls right at the line of scrimmage. Alan Sparry, a great linebacker, and one who intercepts forward passes and runs off for touchdowns. I recall one for 60 yards this year, was in on the tackle. That puts the ball smack on the 43, making the 44 for a gain of a yard, second down and 9. The Colts have already hit the scoreboard today on a forward pass pattern covering 40 yards from Unitas to Lenny Moore. Raymond Berry wide to the left. Unitas goes back. Johnny looks. He fakes. He's being rushed. He spins out, takes one man, but falls on his own 30-yard line, and here's a tremendous loss, pushing him back 14 yards. The pressure was applied that time by Jim Katkavich, left end, and Dick Little Mole Modulewski of Maryland fame. So the Colts are back on their own 30. Third down and long yardage. I want to make a correction on the forward pass for the touchdown, 60 yards instead of 40, since Baltimore put the ball in play, of course, in their own 40. Ready to go now. Lenny Moore is wide this way. Ray Moore goes the other way, or Ray Berry. Waiting for the snap, it's Unitas. Unitas fakes on a handoff to Amici and then tries to float one out in the left flat. And Mike Summer had not turned, and it's ruled is an incompletion. Boy, that was very close, though, to being a lateral pass. A marker has been dropped at the same time, some 10 yards down the field. The pass is ruled as an incompletion. They started the play with third down on the 30. And this will be the first penalty of the game. The Baltimore Colts leading with 7 minutes and 35 seconds remaining in the first quarter from Memorial Stadium with a packed house looking on. Now they have explained we've got a violation here against the Colts, and the Baltimore team is going to be forced into kicking as the Giants are going to refuse it and force them to kick the ball. So it's now at the 30, fourth down coming up. Apparently there was an ineligible man downfield on the forward pass. So the Giants are looking for the football. Back to kick it now is Dave Scherer of SMU. It's the first time that he's booted. Jimmy Patton is one of the safety men, and Lynn Crow is the other. Scherer waits. He's going to kick from around the 18. He gets it very high, not too deep. Fair catch indicated, and it is a fair catch at the 40-yard line. Jim Patton takes the ball. The New Yorkers have it on their own 40. A short kick of only 30 yards. Very, very high and not very deep. So New York takes it for the third time in the game. Remember at the outset, they grabbed the kickoff and quickly went to the air for a first down, and then on a Gifford run, gained another first down. Gifford is coming wide this way. Two Colts are peeling off to cover him. Chuck Connolly gives. They're coming this way on a reverse. A marker dropped at the line of scrimmage, and running with the ball is Alex Webster, but he's not going very far at all. A great defensive line of the Colts. Barreling in, headed up by Gene Daddy Lipscomb, Big Daddy Lipscomb. And we'll probably have to throw that play out. The run by Webster was good for a yard. The Colts have been caught on a violation of offsides, and it moves it up to the 35. It'll be 1st and 5 to go. The second penalty of the game. All in all, it's been a good, clean football game, though, and with so much at stake. The World's Championship. The greatest team in the Eastern Conference, the New York Giants, and the Western Division title holders and world champions defending their laurels today, the Colts. Giants line up again. Schnelker is wide. Gifford is out this way. The Colts are rushing with a 7-man line. It's a running play. Alex Webster takes the ball from Connolly and pushes his way right up through the center of the line, and he's getting very close to the 50-yard line. They're going to put the ball to the 48. On the 48. Szymanski, middle linebacker, actually had plugged up the center hold on that particular defensive play, moved in. It's going to be second down now with 2 to go. The Colts are leading 7-0. 6 minutes and 25 seconds remain in the first quarter. Gifford goes wide to the other way. Gifford is a flanker on practically every play. All right, Connolly gives. They're running away from Gifford. It's Webster with the ball. He tries for the first down. He rolls up over the 50-yard line, and he's made the yardage, I do believe. Gino Marchetti, a great defender, flanking, has moved in to make the tackle on Webster, and it is a first down, and the Giants now have recorded their third first down of the ball game. And New York has gone across the midfield stripe. The ball is now on the 49-yard line of the Colts. And down to the 15-yard line. Boy, they potted that line, and away he went. Mel Triplett. Magnificent 28-yard run. And here the Giants now are throwing up as fine a scoring threat as they've had. Yes, we're going to get a timeout right now. There's timeout on the field. The score, the Baltimore Colts 7, the New York Giants nothing.
Alpine, Alpine, Alpine. Until today, you had to smoke 2 kinds of cigarettes to get what you get from one Alpine. You Alpine.
Until today, if you wanted the comfort of high filtration, you had to smoke 1 kind of cigarette. If you wanted full, rich tobacco refreshed with a light touch of menthol, you had to smoke another kind. Now you get both in 1 cigarette. New Alpine with the longest filter yet. It's Alpine.
Alpine, Alpine. You get 2 kinds of cigarette, 2 kinds of cigarette in 1 Alpine.
Try Alpine.
Alpine, Alpine.
We pause 10 seconds for station identification.
This is WGY, WGFM Schenectady.
Byram Song sending you the World's Championship football game, and what a game it is. Here are the Giants now, down to the 16-yard line. Andy Nelson eventually got tripped down as they moved right through the middle of the Baltimore line. However, the Colts lead in this game. First quarter, 7-0. 4 minutes and 41 seconds remain in the first quarter. Webster is out wide to the right. Connolly goes back. He's going to pass down the middle. Man is Root. He can't get to the ball. He had moved just behind one of the uprights, but the ball was just over his head. Now Root has fallen in the end zone, and he's a little bit slow getting up. Root has been shaken up on that play as Connolly overshot his mark. Johnny Sample was covering, and it was one of those sort of high arch passes. And I don't know if he had a little difficulty getting around the goalpost or not. Van, you've got the binoculars on. Maybe you could see it a little better than I could.
It looked as though Sample and Rote collided for the ball, and inadvertently his knee evidently hit him somewhere around the neighborhood of the chin and knocked him down. I have the glasses on him, and he's getting to his feet now. I think he's going to be all right. Just merely stunned him for a moment. Rote was in the open, but Sample dropped back, but Connolly's pass was thrown just a little bit too far. This is a 7-0 ball game with the Baltimore Colts leading on that explosive play that John Unitas passed to Lenny Moore for the touchdown. And on the play, Unitas had all the time in the world to throw the ball. As a matter of fact, he looked the defense out of position. That is, looking off to the left and finally firing off to the right. I notice they are helping Kyle Rote off the field now, the New York trainers and also the doctor out there, and he is being helped off the field, so we'll have substitution coming on now for Kyle Rote at that end position. Bye.
All right, Van, of course, this would be a severe blow to the Giants, for he not only is one of the great offensive ends, Kyle Rote. He was a halfback, of course, in his earlier days in pro football and in his collegiate days at SMU. And he, of course, is one of the captains of the day. But he is at least walking off, and the chances are he'll be coming back. Anyway, the Giants have the ball on the 16-yard line. It'll be second down, coming up, 10 yards to go. This Kaha has gone in and left in for Rote. They give the ball Connolly to Triplett, and Triplett, who just gained the first down for them, goes roaring up through the center of the line again and brings it down, I would say, to the 12-yard line. Gene Lipscomb and Gino Marchetti, 2 all-pro defenders in the National Football League, and 2 who'll be going to the annual Pro Bowl game in Los Angeles on January 17th, converged on the tackle. This is as close as the Giants have come now. Put it down on the 10-yard line. It is now third down and 4 for the first down. They're just a little better than 10 yards away from a touchdown. Trying to tie this thing up. Time is running down to the last 3 minutes and 56 seconds in the first quarter. Connolly fires for the corner. He hits a receiver, and I believe he's inbounds. He caught the ball on the 6-yard line. That's Bob Schnelker. A little flare-out pass with Schnelker going off to the right. He was tackled immediately by Bill Pellington. And since they're holding the ball on the far sideline, they're going to take a measurement now to see whether the first down has been made. Van indicates now through the binoculars that Rote definitely hit himself, or was hit accidentally, possibly in the nose, but apparently doesn't seem to be seriously hurt. First down and goal to go for the Giants. their 5th first down of the game. New York, you can put it now on the 5-yard line. The pass was to Snelker. Remember, they started this drive a moment ago from back on their own 30. They took advantage of a 5-yard penalty, and of course the great run by Trippett has put them way, way down into the territory of the Colts. Here they come. They're 5 yards away from that famous pay dirt where they pay off at 6 points. More of a standard T formation this time. Connolly gives. The ball goes off to Webster. He roars off to the left. He runs into a lot of opposition around the 3-yard line, and that's about it. Szymanski and Lipscomb, one coming high, the other one low. And Webster, you'll notice, is doing a lot of the inside running today along with Triplett. The ball is on the 3. It'll be 2nd down and goal to go. The Colts lead 7-0 on a magnificent heave by Johnny Unitas to Lenny Moore. The play covering 60 yards. New York in white coming up over the ball now. They're driving from right to left. Webster wide to the right. And the other 10 men are very closely bunched. Baltimore goes into practically a 9-man line. There goes Connolly, fakes, flips into the flat. Gifford strapped. Gifford is running back this way. Will Gifford try to run her through? He is now back to the 10. He fights his way to the 8. But they nail him. A lot of running. Most of it laterally. And Gifford was trapped and had to come the other way. Johnny Sample eventually got a hold of him along with Carl Tassett. But the Giants have lost yardage. 3rd down coming up. The ball is on the 8. 5-yard loss. Gifford was at one time trying to find somebody open. I believe he might have thrown the ball, but not taking any chances. He put it under his arm and took off and tried to hit the goal line. Here they come, led by their center, Waitaka. Webster's being used as a flanker this time. Gifford is back along with Trippett. Connolly waiting for the snap. Chuck Connolly goes back again. He's looking to throw to the goal line. Or will he? He elects to run, and they know him. He's down on the 15-yard line. Big Daddy Lipscomb poured through that time. Here it is, 4th down, and the Giants are now back on the 16-yard line. 8 yards lost as Connolly tried to throw, and that defense is really blitzing in there now. Now it could be the Giants will go for the field goal. Coming into the game is Pat Summerall. This fellow won a couple of games for the Giants, doing all of the scoring during the regular season. They're going to try to boot it from around the 23. There she goes, up, and the kick is good. 23-yard field goal by Pat Summerall. And if memory serves me correctly, Van, this was the same score a year ago in this game, 7-3.
I believe you're right, just about this time, and as you pointed out earlier, the field goal kicking today of Pat Summerall and Steve Meyer could be a vital point in this ball game before it's over. Summerall booting one 23 yards, and in the pros, when they get down inside that 10-yard line, that 4th down comes up. And usually, regardless of the score, the situation, they try to pick up the 3 points because they can be all important before the final gun sounds here at Baltimore. It's a 7-3 game now, and I hope today, that our armed forces all around the world are listening on the Armed Forces Radio Network, are enjoying the broadcast of the ball game from Baltimore's Memorial Stadium. And we've got a lot of football coming up. Clock shows now 1 minute, 44 seconds of playing time remaining in the first quarter, and the Baltimore Colts, who are still the world champions, and still they are dethroned today by the New York Giants, if that happens, and they are leading now 7-3 by...
Ready to kick off, the Giants, Pat Summerall. He just kicked them up onto the scoreboard. 7-3, the Colts lead. For the reception of the kickoff, Alex Hawkins of South Carolina, will be one. It's a short kick, goes to the 15-yard line. It's scooped up by one of the big boys who runs it out to the 30 or 31-yard line. Steve Myra got a hold of the ball, and the deep men were Hawkins and Sample. So it will go to the Colts. First down on the 31-yard line. Steve Myra ran the kick back. Now, there must have been a penalty on the kickoff. The Giants were offside. However, the Colts are going to take the ball on the 31. Time is running out here in the first quarter, but what a first quarter it's been. Baltimore coming up to the ball now. The last time the Colts had the ball, they had to kick it. Mike Summer off to the right as a flanker. Unitas blocks those signals. He fakes to one man, gives to Lenny Moore, who puts his head down and roars on up to about the 35-yard line. where he meets a host of opposition. The defense headed up that time by big Rosie Greer, 275-pounder right tackle, and Ketkavich, who has been a real demon on the defense, who operates the left end. That ball is on the 35-yard line. It's second down and 6 to go. 4-yard gain. Your backfield now for the Colts, Unitas, Moore, Mike Summer, who took over for Dupre. He was hurt midway through the season, and Alan Amici. Unitas goes to pass. He looks, he fires. It's taken by Much. He had it, and then it almost got away. His second effort, he crossed the ball to the 40, and he has it back on the 40-yard line. Lynn Crawl down deep. Jim Muchler almost lost that one. So this brings them up 5 yards, and they're 1 yard shy of a first down. Unitas is fantastic. He can throw short. He can throw long. And as Vernon Patrick pointed out in the early part of the broadcast today, he was practically an unknown 2 years ago. But he is the hottest piece of merchandise in football today, Johnny Unitas. He was the all-pro football player, voted by the writers. All right, here's a quick spot pass to Raymond Berry. They only needed a yard. They make 3 or 4. So the Colts have netted another first down. This will put the ball on the 44. You can see it was a 4-yard spot pass to Ray Berry. In the championship game last year, Berry established 2 records. One for total passes caught in one game and yardage gained on passes completed. Baltimore with the ball lining up again. Their left end is wide. That's Berry. Unitas gives this time. It goes off to Mike Summer with Amici blocking. He goes down on the 45-yard line. The ball got it loose, but the whistle had blown. So they'll bring it back to the 45-yard line. A gain of a yard. And there goes the gun. And that's the end of the first quarter with a score. Baltimore 7 and the New York Giants 3.
The first quarter of this professional championship game is brought to you by the Philip Morris Company and 4 of the famous cigarette brands, Marlboro, Alpine, Parliament, and Philip Morris. 4 great cigarettes for every smoking taste from the Philip Morris Company, makers of America's finest cigarettes. Here at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland, we're waiting for the start of the second quarter. Now a word from Savings and Loan.
This quarter of the game is brought to you by the Savings and Loan Foundation, whose members are insured savings and loan associations organized to help you save your money. A substantial savings account brings you real security and financial independence. So stop in at the Insured Savings and Loan Association near you, start an account, and add to it regularly.
Returning to Memorial Stadium in the city of Baltimore with a packed house looking on the championship game. It will be second and 9 to go with the Colts in possession. They've netted 3 first downs in the game. And for you people who keep figures on the ball game, Unitas has completed 5 out of 7 thrown. A couple have been real shorties. The Giants have scored through the field goal. 23-yard boot by Pat Summerall. And the touchdown pass, Unitas to Moore, covering 60 yards. Here come the Colts. Berry out wide, this way, Moore the other way. Unitas elects to pass, goes back. He is rushed. He spins out of it, but he's losing yardage as the second wave comes in, and down he goes back on the 33-yard line. Cliff Livingston in that second wave after Robustelli had set him up, and there's a tremendous loss. You don't trap Unitas too often. Ball is now back on the 34. You can see there's a loss of 11 yards, 3rd and 20. Unitas, however, will run with the ball more frequently than a fellow like Connerly. Of course, one of the 2 others that come to my mind in the league that run with the ball and do it frequently and do a wonderful job would be Bobby Lane of Pittsburgh and, of course, Tobin Rote of the Detroit Lions. Ready to go now. Colts have a 3rd down and 20, and let's see what they elect to do. Mike Summers off to the right. Giants ready to rush in with a 5-man line. Unitas is going to go back. He fades 10. He looks. He fires on the far side of the line. Lenny Moore has it at the 45-yard line of New York. He's to the 40. He is down to the 35-yard line. And Lenny Moore made a remarkable grab on a pass that was a bit low, but he stayed with it. Jimmy Patton finally nailed him on the 35-yard line. And here are the reasons that the Colts are the world champions. With a 3rd and 20, they come right out of it to gain a first down. Here it is, Baltimore with a first down on New York's 35-yard line. Now, Lenny Moore is limping a bit after the catch, but he stays in the ball game. Moore is being flanked wide to the left. The ball goes this time on a handoff to Mike Summer, who dashes into the right side of the line and digs his way down to the 32-yard line. Cliff Livingston again comes in for the tackle of UCLA. Place the ball now on the 33, a gain of 2 yards, 2nd down and 8 to go. And the Colts are on the move again. Early moments of the second quarter. Amici is coming out of the game. And Hal Lewis is coming in to replace him. Or Billy Pricer is coming into the game. Unitas continues to call the shots. Unitas back, puts one into the flat. Pricer has it, and he is down in a hurry on an open field tackle by Hollins Murray. Coming across, the veteran from Washington State. He had figured that one out. While this pass is completed, the ball is still at the 35. It's a loss of 2 yards. 3rd down and 10 coming up. So far today, Unitas' favorite target has been not Raymond Berry, but Lenny Moore. Muchler going wide to the right now. Lenny Moore, although he was limping, seems to be okay. He's lined up along the near sideline. Unitas goes back again. Johnny Boy looks. He fires one intended for Muchler, but it is not good. Well guarded, I might add, by Lyndon Kroll. He went out and then tried to cut back. And of course, one of the most difficult things to do in this professional football league is to defend against the forward pass, especially with their great sharpshooters. And today, 2 of the greatest in the game are performing for 2 great teams. Jim Lee Howell and his great Chuck Connolly, and Johnny Unitas for Weeb Eubank. They're going to try a field goal from the 42-yard line, right around the 42. Lining up Steve Myra. It'll be held by Ray Brown. There's the boot, end over end, up she goes, and it is not good. It is off a bit to the left. A long field goal endeavor by Myra. So after the ball zooms its way out of the end zone, it will come to the 20, and it will go to the New Yorkers. 1st down and 10 to go. In first downs, unofficially, I have 5 for the Giants today, 4 for the Colts, and on the scoreboard, it is 7-3, the Colts in the lead. 12 minutes and 26 seconds remain in the second quarter of action from the huge stadium in Baltimore. Calling the signals now, lining up Chip Connolly. Connolly fakes the pitch out, gives that ball out to Triplett, but the Colts have stopped him cold this time, right around the 20. Now checking the backfield for the Giants, Webster, Triplett, Gifford, Connolly, and with Tobin Rote still out of action, Isaka is playing at left end. Snelker is playing at right end. This youngster who is in there for Rote hails from the University of Richmond, 6'1", 190-pounder, Bishkaha. All right, here's a pass, Connolly into the flat. Gifford has it up the far side of the field. He got by one man. A flag has been dropped. It could be a clipping penalty. And Gifford, for his effort, moves the ball out to the 27-yard line. Szymanski brought him down. Apparently a giant man who was trying to block has clipped one of the Colts. Now, ladies and gentlemen, under a pass situation like this, the clip occurred on the pass. Let's see. No, it's an illegal forward pass. That's how it's being ruled. So they bring it back to the 10-yard line, half the distance. They started the play, you'll remember, from the 20. For a moment, I thought we had a clipping penalty, and sometimes those penalties are a bit different if the man is running with the ball or if the ball is in the air. Anyway, Connolly's back at the 2-yard line. He hauls off and throws to Snelker. He takes it at the 20-yard line, where he is swarmed under by Szymanski and Kyle Tassop. However, the Colts have moved it out to the 22. 12 yards eaten up on that pass. Bob Snelker, the receiver. Well, we hope that you will stay with us right to the finish. You'll never know. They went into a sudden death a year ago when the Colts won it. Here today at 7-3, the Colts lead. Giants ready. Connolly back. Looks. He fakes a pass. He's being rushed. He tries to get out of it. He has to eat the football back on the 11-yard line. Connolly lost his footing. Gino Marchetti was putting the pressure on with Ray Krause of Maryland. That big Krause is substituted now for Lipscomb in that line defensively. Connolly losing quite a bit of Colts are looking for a kick. Fourth down coming up. Don Chandler back. Behind his own goal line, the boot. Offside penalty, it appeared to me, against the Colts. The boot is coming up. It's got to be taken on the 30-yard line. That's Johnny Sample with it. Sample coming this way to the 35. He gets a beautiful block to the 40. Sample needle threads the sideline and rolls out of bounds right in front of his own bench. He goes down just over the 50. Now the play might be called back. The Colts jumped the gun. They've definitely designated the Colts as the team that committed the foul, and now it's an option. Let's see what the Giants are going to do about it. They're going to take the 5 yards and kick it again, because Sample got a good return out of that, and they would have had the ball around the Giant 40-yard line. So they're going to come back, step off 5, and the Giants apparently will kick it again. 10 minutes and 33 seconds remain in the first half. This is Byram Som, along with Van Patrick, sending you the play-by-play story of the World's Championship game. Yes, they're playing for the Blue Chips today, Baltimore and the New York Giants. Chandler will kick it from around the 3-yard line now. They've got a very wide kick formation. Chandler boots. He gets off a dandy this time. Waiting back on the 30-yard line, it's Johnny Sample. Sample gets ahead of steam. He's to the 35. He goes. He zigs away from one man, but then is caught from behind on a good tackle that brings him down at the 39-yard line. That tackle was made by Rosie Brown. That shows you those big boys get in there and tackle those little speedsters once in a while. So the Colts have it on the 39. That kick was 54 yards upfield. This, of course, is a partisan crowd today, and probably the greatest sports spectacle to ever hit the state of Maryland. Raymond Berry flank wide this way. Unitas goes back, gives it on a draw play. Up through the middle comes Adamichi. He goes for that inside distance, and this time works his way up to the 45-yard line. Penn State's great Rosie Greer moved in along with Huff, who is considered one of the top linemen in the National Football League. Sammy Huff, and what a game he played against these Colts a year ago. The ball is on the 45. So, second down, 4 to go. Mike Summer. Wide to the right. Giants are moving their defense in. They're playing a 7-man line. On a reverse, Lenny Moore gets the ball. Tries to cut to the inside and gets up to the 48-yard line. 2-yard or possibly 3-yard gain by Moore. Nailed by Jim Cabbage. They're going to take a look at it. Now remember, Kyle Rote was shaken up as Connolly tried to hang a pass on a peg for him in the end zone. And whether Kyle was hurt by his knee hitting him up under the chin, or whether he ran into one of the Colts, we do not know, but he hasn't come back into the game. Now they're going to take a look at this. And it will be third down coming up. Short yardage. Put it on the 48-yard line, 3rd and 1 to go. The Colts leading 7-3. We're in the second quarter in Baltimore. 9 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the first half. Let's see what Eubank's team will do. Moore coming this way wide. Giants going to an 8-man line, and it's the quarterback sneak, and Unitas, I'm sure, made it. Unitas goes up through there, and with his nose low to the ground, I'm sure he's up at least to the 50, and that's where he is. Robustelli is out of the pile, but a first down netted by the Colts. 5 first downs for the Baltimoreans on the 50-yard line. Unitas threw a pass to Lenny Moore. The total distance covering 60 yards, and the extra point by Mara made it 7-0, and we had a 23-yard field goal by Pat Summerall to tell the story of the scoring. Moore is wide, very wide. They flip the ball to Ray Berry. Berry has it inside the 40, goes down to the 37-yard line. Jimmy Patton gets him down. There comes that great pass receiver, Raymond Berry. This moves the ball ahead and puts it on New York's 37. Another first down for Baltimore. was the gun on the reception of those great passes. Not only coming down to tie the game up in the World Championship game a year ago, but in the playoff as well, in the sudden death. Alan Amici with it. He comes rolling through that middle of the line and comes down to the 33-yard line. Rosie Greer wraps him up. Starting from the 37. 4-yard gain, second down, and 6 to go. Two of the finest defensive units in the game today. And of course, a lot of credit probably doesn't go as much as it should to those great boys in the secondary. Those fellows like Lynch and Nolan and Patton and Livingston and Sparry. Off to the right goes Lenny Moore. Two men are covering Moore at the moment. Unitas goes back over the line, shoots one down to Mutzler, and it's good. And it looks like a little spot pass. It's going to get him another first down. He rolls down to the 25 or 24-yard line. Dick Nolan makes the tackle, but another first down for the Colts. The Colts are rolling now. 24-yard line. They started from the 33. Notice how a quarterback Unitas now, not favoring any one receiver. It's Moore one time, it's Berry the next. That time it was Mutzler. They give the ball on a reverse here to Mike Summer, who dashes off right tackle and brings that ball down to the 21-yard line. Big Rosie Greer, who's doing a tremendous job at tackle, brings him down to the 21. Now don't forget, at the halftime, we expect to have some of the coaches and dignitaries that are attending this World Championship game. Also the acting commissioner of the National Football League, Mr. Austin Gunzel. Now the Colts are trying to pick up another touchdown here. Time running out in the second period. More wide, Unitas back, Unitas fades, hauls off, flips one to the sideline. The man is out of bounds. It was intended for Raymond Berry. I'm sure that he was out of bounds when he picked it off. He went out of bounds at the 10-yard line. So that will stop the clock. Incompleted forward pass and returns it to the 21-yard line. Third down and 7. Billy Pricer now operating at fullback. Former All-American from the University of Oklahoma, Amici has come out. Here's where the Colts can kill you. Third down. Unitas fades deep again, hauls off, and his receiver did not turn in time. Mutzler, who came across diagonally from right end and was all alone in the 15-yard line, just could not catch up to the pass. They put a blitz that time on Unitas, and he had to release that ball in a hurry. Sparry had moved in the line. Here it is, 4th and 7 from the 21, and let's see what the Board of Strategy is going to do on this one. Lenny Moore wide. The Colts are not going to try for a field goal. They're going to try for a first down or 6 points. Unitas goes back. Small pocket. He is trapped. He can't get rid of the ball as a giant defense rushes in. And down goes Unitas on the 25-yard line. Catkavage and Robustelli converging from the two flanks did the job that time on Unitas, and the ball will go over. Giants have held. And of course, the Giants have been noted all season for their great goal line stands. And you'll remember they gave up fewer points than any other team in the National Football League. New York's ball on their own 25. Make it the 26-yard line. All right, the ball is given as Connolly lines up, gives it in there to the plunging fullback, Bill King, who brings it out to the 29. 3-yard gain. He was nailed by Dick Szymanski, the middle linebacker, and it's second down and 7. Jim Lee Howells, backfield unit now. Webster, he's coming his way as a flanker. Gifford, King. Here's Connolly. He pitches the ball intended for Gifford, but he overshoots his mark. The ball is dropped, and some were questioning whether it was a lateral or a forward pass. It's a forward pass, all right. 3rd and 7. Has come in for Darrell Dess. This could be a bit of information coming in from the head coach. With 3rd and 7 to go, the Giants in possession, and the Giants trailing 7-3 in the second quarter. World's Championship game. Gifford wide to the left. Connolly fades. Connolly has to get rid of that ball. He throws, but Webster can't handle it. He tried to hit him in the right flat. Webster couldn't get a hold of it. Marchetti put a lot of pressure on Connolly that time, and also Ray Krause. Rounded pass, and now the Giants have a 4th and 7. Chuck Connolly from the University of Mississippi won the passing honors this year, although Johnny Unitas threw more touchdown passes and probably threw for more yardage. Of course, Unitas has had a fantastic record over the years, and going into this game today has completed a forward pass in 37 consecutive games. They're going to kick now with Chandler deep. Gets his foot into the ball. It's a high, zooming kick that's going to be taken on the 20-yard line. It's a fair catch, indicated by John Sample, one of the safety men. And there is no return, and it will go to Baltimore. First down and 10 to go on their own 22. Colts ball on their own 22. You know, we were very fearful today that we would have rain, but the weatherman has really cooperated. The field is absolutely dry, and the two teams, of course, have no alibis today. Over 57,000 looking on. It's the 6th sellout that they've had in Baltimore this year. You only have to be here to get the idea as to how these fans go for their famous Colt team. Now the Colts with the ball, Summer wide. Unitas is going to throw, even though he's ahead 7-3. He fakes, he's not going to throw after all. He elects to run and he loses yardage. He's down to the 16-yard line. He had Lenny Moore and Jim Mutzler a good 40 yards upfield, but he couldn't get the protection for that long pass. Robustelli brought him down, make it the 17-yard line, 2nd and 15. There's very little to choose between these two great defensive lines. Fellas in that New York defensive line, like Huff, Robustelli, Modzalewski, Cat Savage. Looking at the clock now, this is not official, but it's very close. 3 minutes and 54 seconds remaining in the first half from Baltimore. Berry and Lenny Moore are out wide. 7-3, the Colts lead. Unitas Spade shoots one into the flat. It's taken there by Mike Summer. Summer is going to be trapped. He's down to the 15-yard line. Dick Lynch had figured that one out. And also Rosie Greer. Now here's a completed pass that loses yardage. 3rd and 14. This is about as deep as the Baltimore team has been with the ball, their own section of the field. Up and over the ball they come now with Berry wide. Berry, you know, caught 14 touchdown passes during the regular season. Giant man jumped the gun. Unitas goes back to pass. He's standing on his own 7. He throws downfield. Taken by Raymond Berry. Berry's up to the 40, goes out of bounds. Steps out around the 43-yard line. I believe the Colts will have an option here. It appeared to me that Robustelli jumped across the line of scrimmage, so the Colts are going to take the game. This will give Baltimore their 8th first down. And it brings the Colts now out to the 44-yard line, their own 44-yard line. Unitas to Berry. Well, there's timeout on the playing field, and the score, the Baltimore Colts 7, New York Giants 3. And now a word from Saving and Loan.
If you need money for a home or a car or vacation, or retirement funds or your children's education,
Well, make those dreams come true quite easily. All you need to do is grow a money tree.
for a money tree, you can grow one of your own.
By saving and insured savings and loans.
Money trees grow faster at insured savings and loans because they earn better returns and your savings are safe.
So get going, get your money tree growing right away.
Start saving at an insured savings and loan today.
Start the new year right by opening an account where your savings are insured up to $10,000 by the Federal Savings and Loan Insurance Corporation, a government agency.
Pause 10 seconds for station identification.
These are the General Electric stations, WGY and WGFM, Schenectady.
Once again, we're in Baltimore's Memorial Stadium. Getting down in the last few minutes of the first half. Baltimore leading 7-3, and Baltimore in possession of the ball. Unitas today in the passing has completed 11 out of 16. The Colts have racked up 8 first downs. Baltimore with a first down on their own 44-yard line. Now, Jerry Richardson has come in, and he's flanked wide to the right in that Baltimore backfield. Johnny Unitas goes 10 yards deep to pass again. He is rushed, and he is speared for a loss back on the 37-yard line. That giant line really poured in on him that time. Cat Cabbage and Roosevelt Greer. The Colts, of course, Unitas, he sizes up things, and if he believes he's going to throw one of those passes and only has a 50-50 chance of being connected, he won't throw it. So, he loses a bit of yardage here. Back on the 38. Second, 16. 2 minutes and 38 seconds remain in the second period. Unitas hit Lenny Moore for a touchdown. Extra point by Myra. A field goal by Summerall is the story of the 7-3. Unitas back to pitch, and he's thrown again. Rosie Greer smothers Unitas. Collins Farley came along to help, and Unitas goes back on his haunches at the 27. About a 10-yard loss on that. Now, way upfield, Jim Patton apparently has come up with a Charlie horse. Of course, this would be a severe blow. Patton, I notice, is running off the field. Already, Kyle Rote is out of action, at least since he was injured trying to go for a touchdown pass in the end zone. Patton goes limping off. You might remember that Patton was hurt in the early part of the season, and the Giants lost a game or two. He rates as one of the finest defenders against the forward pass that you'll find in football today. Anyway, he leaves.
Third and 27 at the 27.
All right, we're set to go. It's Baltimore with the ball. They're putting a tremendous rush on Unitas right now. Third down. Unitas fakes a pass, throws one. Mutzler grabs it. Mutzler has it up on the 41 or 2-yard line. He really hung that one on a peg, and Bill Stitz, who has gone into the game for Patton, made the tackle along with Dick Nolan. They're going to place it on the 42-yard line. However, it is fourth down coming up, and the Colts still need quite a bit of yardage. Dave Scherer, S-H-E-R-E-R, a 21-year-older who does the kicking, is coming in for the Colts. Baltimore leading 7-3. The officials are letting the coaches know now that we have 2 minutes to go in the first half. A double safety downfield, waiting the reception of the Scherer boot. Lenny Crow is one, and the other is Joe Morrison. He gets it off. It's a high spiraling boot. Fair catch is indicated. Ball is stopped but recovered quickly by the giant man. That's Lyndon Crow. He was set to take it on the 17-yard line. So it will go to New York. 41-yard boot downfield. Giants ball. One of the most fantastic things to me in football in the National Football League is the way these teams move the ball. And you'll remember a year ago in the championship game, the Colts came on with 1 minute and 56 seconds to tie the game, and they had to go a long way. Here's Connerly back. He looks, he fires, and his pass intended to Snelker is incomplete. Snelker tried to grab it. Bill Pellington came within an eyelash of picking it off. Back on the 17, loss of a down. That stops the clock. All of the scoring came about in the first quarter. And here in this second period, for the most part, the defensive units have been taking over. Webster wide, Connerly deep, Connerly to pass. Shoots one, intended for Snelker. Snelker goes high. He has the ball on the 45. He goes to the 40. He goes to the 35. He took the ball away from Pellington. A tremendous throw as Connerly hung that ball out, and Snelker really did make a catch on that one. Bob Snelker on a bit of heroics here, has put New York now within scoring distance. They are now on the 34-yard line. First down, New York. Snelker picked it off and practically took the ball away from his defender. Giants had come up with the first down. Of course, they're watching that clock. 57 seconds remain. Here in the first half, Connerly back. Chuck looks, throws to the sideline. His man is out of bounds. He tried to take it at the 21-yard line. Snelker, I'm sure he's out of bounds, covered very dearly by Carl Tassel. Call it an incompletion, stops the clock, brings the ball back to the 34-yard line, second down and 10 to go. Now that play that brought the Giants out of the deep muck got them from their own 17 down to the 34-yard line, covering a total of 49 yards and a first down. The Giants have 6 first downs. The Colts have 8. 7-3. Baltimore's leading. What a ball game it's turning out to be as Connerly goes back, pitches into the flat, taken by King. Bill King rolls for the far side of the field. He doesn't get out of bounds, and the clock is still rolling now with approximately 35 seconds to go. For his effort, he gets the ball down to the 31-yard line. Szymanski covers him up. It's a 3-yard gain on that flat screen-type pass into the left flank. 3rd and 7. Time is important now. Connerly takes and goes back to pass. Charlie looks and throws to the end zone. It is no good. Just over the fingertips of Baisaka, the end who has moved in for Rote, just over his outstretched fingertips. So that stops the clock and brings it back. 4th down coming up. Now Summerall, I notice, is entering the game. It will be 4th down from the 31-yard line. And according to the timepiece, 16 seconds remain here in the first half. The Colts are leading 7-3. Summerall is lining up to boot one now from the 37-yard line. Remember, he kicked one from the 23. Connerly holds. There's the kick. She is up. The kick is good. The kick is good. A 37-yard perfect placement by Pat Summerall. And what do you know? Now there's an argument. They're waiting for the ball to be brought out from behind the goalpost, and the Colts are throwing up. It is good. Ronnie Gibbs indicates it is good. The Colts claimed it apparently missed the uprights. The score is now Baltimore 7, the New York Giants 6. They're howling here in Baltimore, and you will, or maybe you do not know, but in this huge concrete horseshoe, many thousands of the spectators are actually behind the end zone. And they believe that they can see the kick as well as Mr. Ron Gibbs. I notice that Marchetti continues to point to the upright here on the right side, and then he seems to be very, very definite that that ball missed.
Of course, this is reminiscent of baseball. You've got many umpires down in the end zone, and if you have missed it, this is a partisan crowd here in Baltimore today, and since they are seated right back of the goal post, this is
the kickoff. Summerall boots the ball. It goes to the 5. It hits at the goal line, and they are going to touch it down for a touchback. Alex Hawkins was one of the deep men for the Colts that time. Baltimore's ball in the 20 after the kickoff. Well, this has added to the excitement of the football game. One thing you have to understand, and at halftime we will have a little better chance to talk about it, the referee is stationed directly behind the kicker.
And at halftime, only 1 point separates the two teams as the Colts lead 7-6. The experts anticipated a clash between two great defenses in this game, and that's what the first half has been. The Colts got their score on one big play, and the Giants were never able to cross the goal line at all, relying on the kicking of Pat Summerall for their 6 points. Let's watch the byplay as two brave but foolhardy Giant rooters taunt the Colt partisans. How's that for an interception? While the Colts rest and plot second-half strategy, the Phillies take the spotlight as the talented Baltimore cheerleaders and majorettes entertain the crowd, with the Colt band providing the music. Now the two teams are ready for action again. The Colts are determined to lengthen their one-point lead, but the Giants are just as determined to get out in front. Big Daddy Lipscomb takes his time, but he'll be in there when the action starts. Don Chandler kicks off for New York. It's a line drive kick with the ball bounding to Alex Hawkins. Hawkins fumbles, but Sherman Plunkett recovers for Baltimore on their 38.
The Giants' defense is playing without safety Jim Patton, who suffered a pulled muscle in the arch of his foot in the second quarter.
The give is to Amici, and the horse hammers into the right side for 5 yards.
2nd and 6 at Baltimore 42. Unitas passes to Berry, but it's incomplete. 3rd down now for the Colts. Fourth and 1 at about the Colts 47.
The Colts get within 1 yard of a first down, but elect to punt on 4th down. Dave Scherer sends a towering shot to Joe Morrison at the New York 8. Joe runs into a herd of Colts at the 13, and that's the end of his return.
1st and 10 for the Giants at their own 13. Giants run on 1st down for 1 yard. 2nd and 9.
We move in close as Connerly hustles back and flips to Phil King. King is off and running for a first down on the Giant 25.
This is New York's 7th first down. 1st and 10 at the Giants' own 25-yard line.
Connerly tries the other side of the Colt defense as he calls for a sweep by Alec Webster. Webster wheels for 9 yards.
2nd and 1 at the Giants' 34.
Connerly hands to Gifford this time. The talented halfback fakes an end run, then passes across the field to Bob Schnelker, and the Giants move to the Baltimore 48.
1st and 10 at the Colts 47. On 1st down, the ball is given to Triplett, who gains 1. 2nd and 9 at the Colts 46.
Schnelker is proving to be New York's top receiver today. He makes a great diving catch and rolls to the Colt 26 for a 20-yard gain to keep the Giant drive alive.
1st and 10 Giants at the Colts 26. Webster gains 3 on the ground. 2nd and 7 at the Colts 23. Connerly gives King a swing pass and adds 2 more yards. 3rd and 5 at the Colts 21. Rote returns to the field. 3rd and 5, and we have a defensive holding penalty which gives New York an automatic first down on the Colts' 15-yard line. Connerly throws into the end zone to Rote, but Milt Davis leaps and bats the ball away. 2nd and 10. Charlie rolls to the right and overthrows Schnelker on the 3. 3rd and 10.
It's 3rd and 10 from the 15 as the Giants close in, and the slow-motion camera rolls. Connerly's pass is aimed for Frank Gifford, and Gifford thinks he has it, until Johnny Sample streaks in to make a sensational save. With 4th and 10, the stage is set for Pat Summerall. Pat provides a perfect placement, and the Giants lead. They still haven't crossed the Colt goal line, but they're out in front, 9-7.
His third field goal ties a championship game record shared by 3 others. The Giants kick off and it goes into the end zone. 1st and 10 Colts at the Baltimore 20. Moore tries the middle for 2 yards as Huff tackles him. 2nd and 8 at the Baltimore 22. Unitas back to pass and Lynch, who had been so close several times in the first half, bats down the next pass intended for Berry. 3rd and 8. Unitas throws down the field to Moore, but the pass is no good as Crow matches Lenny stride for stride. 4th down. Morrison makes a fair catch of Scherer's punt at the New York 44. 1st and 10 New York. Now 2nd and 9 at New York 45-yard line. Conerly again goes to Schnelker on the 30, but Pellington smacked the receiver and knocked the ball loose, incomplete. 3rd and 9 at the New York 45.
Conerly races back and pegs to Frank Gifford on a nice pattern that nets 19 yards.
1st and 10 around the Baltimore's 36-yard line. Ball is given to Gifford. He gains nothing. 2nd and 11 at about the Baltimore 37-yard line. Conerly back to pass. Lipscomb bats down the pass. 3rd and 11.
Colt coach Weeb Eubank is sweating on the sidelines as Conerly comes up to a 3rd and 11 situation. Conerly fires to Bob Schnelker, and the Giants are mighty close to that first down. Referee Gibbs calls for the chain gang and finds that New York has about a foot to go.
4th and inches at the Baltimore 26-yard line.
This is the key play in the game. Webster goes straight ahead and drives for all he's worth, but the Colts put up a solid wall. Here comes the chain gang again. Baltimore has held.
Baltimore ball, 1st and 10 at about their own 26-yard line. On 1st down, Summer runs for 5. 2nd and 5 at the Baltimore 32-yard line. Give to Pricer. Pricer pushes it forward for 4 more. 3rd and 1 at the Baltimore 36-yard line. As the Colts line up for 3rd and 1, guard Art Spiney is called for movement. On 3rd down, Unitas goes to pass but is pulled down by Robustel and aided by Greer, which will force a punt. 4th down. Scherer boots high to Morrison at the New York 43. New York back to punt. Chandler kicks out of bounds on the 16. 1st and 10 Baltimore on their own 16-yard line.
As the 3rd quarter runs out, the Colts take charge. Unitas flips a short pass to fast-moving Billy Pricer, who picks up 9 yards.
Second and 1 at the Colts' own 25-yard line. Summer runs and gets the necessary yard for the 1st down. And the 3rd quarter ends with the Giants 9 Colts 7. And it's the beginning of the 4th quarter, 2nd and 8 at the Colts 37. Unitas back to pass. Unitas overthrows Mutchler to bring up 3rd down.
Unitas rifles to Berry, and the play earns a 1st down at the 47.
First down Baltimore at their own 47-yard line. Fullback Pricer goes up the middle for 4 yards. 2nd and 6 at the Giants' 49-yard line.
Here's that quick Colt pass again. Lenny Moore is the receiver, and he makes a fast getaway. Lenny is out in the open, but Dick Lynch pulls him down from behind after a 36-yard gain.
First down, Colts at the Giants' 13-yard line.
The Colts are close to the goal line. Billy Pricer powers to the New York 9.
Second and 6 at the Giants' 9.
Unitas doesn't even try to dent New York's forward wall. He bypasses it with a sideline pass to Jim Mutchler for a 5-yard gain.
Third and 1 at the Giants' 4-yard line.
On the next play, Unitas fools the Giants completely. He rolls out and dodges into the end zone, standing up to get the lead back for Baltimore. Let's watch those two plays again from our sideline vantage point. Lyndon Crow hauls down Mutchler right in front of us. Now Johnny Unitas really digs to make it into the end zone in the climax of a brilliant march that caps the Colt comeback. Baltimore has taken command of the situation with a 14-9 lead.
Colts 14, Giants 9 with 12 minutes and 18 seconds left in the game. And the Colts kick off, and it's a touchback. First and 10 New York on their own 20-yard line. The ball is given to Gifford, second down. A screen pass to King that brings up third and 6 at the Giants' 24. Conerly back to pass. It's batted down by Shemaisky, bringing up a 4th and 6. Chandler gets off another excellent kick, but Tassif runs it back 10 yards to the Baltimore 40. First and 10, Colts at their own 40-yard line. The Giants' defense did what it had to do, holding the Colts to 4 yards on 3 plays. 4th and 6th on the Colts' 44-yard line. So Scherer punts to Crow on the 15. He returns to the 22, but a personal foul penalty moves the ball back to the 7. 3rd and 8, with the Giants on their own 9-yard line.
The Giants are forced into a dangerous game as they go for the long gain in an attempt to get back the lead. Connolly throws upfield from his own goal line, but Andy Nelson intercepts for the Colts. New York is in a precarious position now as Andy returns to the 14, bowling over cameraman Herman Ernst in the process.
First and 10 Baltimore on the Giants' 15.
Alan Amici tries the middle of the Giant line and has a tough time picking up 2 yards.
Second and 8.
But Johnny Unitas has the key that unlocks the touchdown door. As Berry draws 2 defenders into the end zone with him, Jerry Richardson trails. Unitas hits him and Richardson scampers across for another Colt tally. The score mounts to Colts 21, Giants 9.
Colts off to kick. Morrison fumbles the kick in the end zone, then runs out to the 17. First and 10, Giants on their own 17.
Again, Charlie Conerly tries to pass New York out of its own territory. He spots Frank Gifford at the sideline, but Frank can't hold on to the ball.
Second and 10 on the 17.
Conerly is throwing on every play. His top receiver today has been Bob Schnelker, and Bob comes through again with a 12-yard reception for a first down.
First and 10 Giants on their 29.
Baltimore is really putting the pressure on the veteran Charlie Conerly. The Colt forwards snow him under for a 4-yard loss.
Second and 14, Giants on their own 25. Conerly hands to King on a drop play, but only gains 2. Third and 12 on the 27.
It's 3rd and 12, and Conerly has to go for the big play again. It turns out to be a big play for the Colts as Johnny Sample intercepts and sprints down the sideline to make his way across for a Baltimore touchdown. It's Colts 28, Giants 9, and Big Daddy Lipscomb congratulates Sample as they leave the field.
Colts 28, Giants 9 with 5 minutes and 19 seconds left in the game. Colts to kick off. Morrison runs the kickoff back to the 26. First and 10 Giants.
Once more, the Giants try to move out of danger. Connolly feeds a delayed handoff to Frank Gifford, and Frank heads around right end behind good blocking to pick up 23 yards.
First and 10 New York at their own 49.
The New Yorkers try a little trickery as Connolly races back, then laterals to Frank Gifford. Gifford aims for Schnelker. But Johnny Sample makes his second sensational interception. Sample returns all the way to the New York 26.
First and 10 Baltimore at the New York 26. Unitas hands to Pricer for 2 yards. Second and 8 at the New York 26.
He finds Berry available on a slant pattern for a fast 6 yards.
Third and short around the 17-yard line. Unitas throws incomplete, and that brings up a 4th down.
The Giant defense is still stubborn, but Steve Myra solves it with a 25-yard field goal. The Colts have scored 24 points in this final period to take a 31-9 lead. Myra kicks off for Baltimore with about 2 minutes left to play. The kick is short, and Mel Triplett takes it. Mel gets to the Giant 30.
First and 10 Giants on their own 31.
The New Yorkers are still looking for their first touchdown. Phil King tries to move in the draw play, but Don Joyce snags his ankle to hold him to a 3-yard gain.
Second and 10 at the 31.
Kyle Rote returns to the game and makes his presence felt immediately. Rote wraps up a Connolly pass for a first down to the Giant 30.
First and 10 at the Giants 49. Ray Brown replaces Sample, who gets a cheer from the crowd as he goes to the bench.
Connolly comes back and looks for Big Bob Schnelker. Bob is wide open as the Colts concentrate on the long receivers. It's another 19-yard gain. The Giants are racing the clock now.
First and 10 Giants on the Colts 32-yard line. Timeout with 43 seconds remaining. King gets the ball and throws a halfback pass incomplete as Schnelker falls down. Second and 10 at the 32.
Connolly spots Schnelker heading for the corner of the end zone and hits him for a Giant touchdown.
Colts 31, Giants 16. With fans crowding the sidelines, Baltimore runs out the clock with the final score, Colts 31, Giants 16.
After 3 quarters of tense battle on nearly even terms, the defending world champions broke the game wide open as their defensive unit turned the tide with key interceptions, and the great Baltimore offense converted every opportunity into points. The delirious Colt fans tackle the impossible task of dismantling steel goalposts set in concrete, and succeed as their heroes leave the field still world champions of professional football.